So what to expect for this week crypto market outlook? Okay, is the bottom is in, or should we expect another lows? Okay, or should we see a relief rally? That is what everyone is expecting. Okay, the bounce, the dead cat bounce, where everybody just want to sell and leave. Okay, how soon can we able to get, or should we hit lower? Okay, a possible drop to 79,000. Okay, that is according to one of the popular analysts. Okay, there could be another bearish flag on BTC chart. Okay, so we are still not out of the woods yet, even though probably we might wait all the way to 80,000. Okay, we are still yet to find a proper bottom, a solid bottom. Okay, so BTC is currently trading sideways somewhere around 86 to 88.4K. Still stagnant there. We're still lacking to see the relief rally where everyone has expected compared to the S&P 500. Okay, the Dow Jones and Nasdaq. They already had the relief rally, the V-shaped recovery. Okay, at least some reversal there, but until now we don't see coming in from BTC, Europe, and the rest of the alts. So it's also quite concerning. Okay, if this were to happen, then most likely the Nasdaq or probably the S&P 500 might probably get top out from there, and then probably will have another drop again. Okay, so that could be another concern. Okay, and then of course, nonetheless, we are looking at the dominance also went down. That is also another confirmation. Okay, probably the Bitcoin dominance is down. That's where probably Ethereum and of course the alts will definitely have a chance to at least have one more last rally, or many are calling it the alt season, if we ever get the chance to able to witness. Okay, so yeah, I think overall we can see extreme fear sentiment still there. Okay, and then the major issue right now is that we do not have retail coming in. There is no euphoria at the top. We do not see the blow off top compared to the last two cycles. So that is the difference. Okay, and we compare the stocks as well, we can see stocks continue with this winning streak. Okay, but crypto as of now is doing the opposite. It is not following. Okay, so speaking about alt season, I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. Okay, if you look at the sentiment right now, it's really, really bearish. Everyone is hoping for Bitcoin to recover, to have the relief rally first. Then only we can talk about Ethereum and alts. Okay, right? So yeah, the main issue here is the liquidity. So Bitcoin really depends on liquidity. No liquidity means stagnant, and of course, price also continue to dip. Okay, no rotation at all, no liquidity, no rotation. Okay, so Bitcoin dominance has been holding somewhere around 58 to 61% since early October. Okay, right. So this is by 𝗶𝗺𝗀𝗀𝘀. Okay, so yeah, you can see losing 85.5. Okay, could potentially give a retest to 80.8 or 82K. So we already revisit 80K. Okay, already went down to 80K. So probably might see more downwards, or probably another pullback before we hit higher again. So another potential drop, a bearish flag pattern, okay, could be heading to another 79,000. So that could be the worst here. So we already did to 80K. So probably we could expect one more last drop to at least 79, according to this guy called Ali Charts. Okay, so this is the bearish scenario. Okay, and then moving on next. Okay, so coming in from here, you can see. Okay, Ethereum mirrors gold breakout. So again, like I said, for Ethereum and alts, there's still more room for growth. This could be the final show before the curtains decide to drop. Okay, the final performance. Usually Ethereum and alts will have its last rally. Okay, so Bitcoin will peak first, like I already mentioned to you guys. After Bitcoin peaks, that's where Ethereum and alts will usually tend to outperform against Bitcoin. So that's why you can see the dominance continue to go down. And then it against Bitcoin chart, you can see Ethereum is outperforming against Bitcoin. Okay, so now according to this article here, so Ethereum most likely to follow gold's footstep or gold's pattern. So we should see Ethereum to continue to rally, continue to outperform. Okay, so Ethereum showing early signs of resilience. Okay, now stabilizing somewhere around $2,900. Okay, and then of course tracking almost identically to gold's 4-year consolidation structure. Okay, now it is somewhere around reaccumulation point, which is also similar like gold, hit shortly before its explosive breakout in 2024 last year. Okay, so 4-year consolidation looks uncannily similar to gold. So probably if this thing is going to play out, then I think it's going to have another massive rally, similar like gold movement. Okay, so my target, I think, according to 𝗶𝗀𝗀𝘀, he mentioned about Ethereum can go all the way to 5.3K. Okay, then probably might dip back. Okay, and that could be the blow off top for Ethereum. Okay, so now Ethereum is 2,900. Okay, going here to 5,000, 5,003. Probably it may seem very conservative and realistic. Okay, rather than throwing you crazy price target. So yeah, I think probably Ethereum will have its one last rally, one last push before we end the bull market cycle for crypto this year. Okay, and then leading up to 2026 as well. Okay, so what you can see here, gold followed a nearly identical 4-year structure between 2020 to 2024. 4 years. Okay, 4 years, what happened? Clear top around 2,100, and then consolidation marked by wide swings, and then final dip toward the lower boundary, major breakout with the all-time high. Very, very similar. So you can see this chart here, Ethereum versus gold. Again, 4-year consolidation. Okay, and then this is gold, right? It went down here, similar also. And then once gold break this 4-year consolidation resistance level, and then that's it, blue skies ahead. Okay, so if the fractal continues holding, Ethereum could be at the equivalent spring phase of this long consolidation cycle, which is quite huge. Okay, so yeah, I think probably maybe you might want to prepare, okay, for alts if you are still holding, especially on Ethereum rather than the smaller coins. Probably Ethereum stand a better chance, okay, for this cycle. Okay, so yeah, overall we can see it's all about waiting game. It's all about surviving. Okay, do you have the patience to wait? That's the most important thing. Okay, and then are you aware? Are you alert with your portfolio? What is going on? So a lot of people are still being complacent. Okay, not even bothered what's happening. Okay, some coins are already down 90 to 95%, knowingly that there is no chance of recovery, yet you are still holding. Okay, so there's a time that you want to check your portfolio, do some spring cleaning. And then next, okay, so we can see here. So we talk about Cardano, Chainlink, other top 10 tokens. Okay, so we can see these 2 tokens are currently under valuation. Okay, as market losses persist. Okay, so yeah, I think due to the very sentiment, so we can see what's happening now for those top 10, especially on Cardano and Chainlink. Okay, I think these 2 coins have been quite promising for this cycle. Okay, in terms of conviction, in terms of the technology utility-wise, okay, very solid. Okay, but unfortunately, we look at the technical, it is really, really bearish, isn't it? Okay, fundamental bullish. Okay, community developer, they are doing very well. They are behind the scene, they are building. Okay, look at Chainlink as well with the CCIP, cross-chain interoperability protocol. Okay, that you can able to bridge or you can able to transact stable coins using Chainlink's ecosystem. Okay, so much of building ongoing with Chainlink, but yet the price not aligned. Okay, so yeah, we can see the sentiment. Okay, it's an on-chain analysis for each individual alts. So you can see Cardano is down negative 19%, Chainlink down about 13%. So we can see here, signaling extreme undervaluation, categorized as strong undervaluation. So anything that is undervalued, you know that could be a high chance of reversal, or probably there's could be a high conviction for a stronghold, okay, for this type of tokens. Okay, so we can see here, the MVRV chart realized each asset is moved through sentiment's undervaluation zone. Okay, so we look at Cardano, right, sits the deepest, which is here. Extreme undervaluation. So as you know that I think a lot of people getting very impatient with Cardano, especially with Charles Hoskinson, or the way he moves things, and then now with the midnight airdrop. So I think they're going to launch on next month, not mistaken. then with a resting period for I think 3 rounds. Okay, and they've been constantly building and building. Okay, I think the committee get fed up. Okay, so they cannot win. All right. So Cardano, buried in the extreme undervaluation band, clearly separated from the rest of the group. So we can see already how boring it is for people who hold Cardano. Okay, and then Chainlink as well, you can see strong undervaluation. Okay, knowingly that Chainlink, I believe that Chainlink can be able to continue to where it left off. Okay, because I think you need to avoid technicals for now, because technicals are noise. You want to look at the fundamentals, you want to look at the utility and what is ongoing in their ecosystem, right? That's where you got to join their Telegram, their Discord, Twitter. Okay, you can see what they are building. Okay, I believe they are very active for Chainlink. Okay, all right, so that's the best time to actually accumulate. Okay, not financial advice, but if you can see this kind of conviction, strong undervaluation, you know, okay, that is a quite strong fit for Chainlink to continue to thrive. I believe also for next cycle as well with their technology. Okay, and then next, again, as cycles pass, I think more and more serious players comes in. Okay, not about retail, not about OG whales, but institutions, hedge funds, family offices, royalties are actually coming into crypto to buy and of course to store it as a store of value, especially on BTC alone. So crypto stops being a lottery ticket, unlike last 10 years where Bitcoin is first introduced. Okay, so everyone is speculating like gambling. Okay, so the lottery ticket phase is ending. Okay, so last year most investors said they chase crypto for its moonshot upside. Assumption no longer dominates, right? Okay, so yeah, I think people like this are usually those retail gamblers. Okay, fly by night, they will usually go to Solana or Palm.fund. Okay, so they fund in their account maybe $10, $5, then they leverage trade or probably buy the next meme. That is still part of the ecosystem in crypto, right? But apart from that, I think we can see that Bitcoin continues to grow into a macro anchor. Okay, all right, Bitcoin has migrated from the speculative trade category into the protective category. Okay, as a store of value, as a hedge against inflation. That is what millionaires are also looking into. Right, like Larry Fink from BlackRock have been mentioning many times, and then MicroStrategy, okay, Michael Saylor's company has been buying non-stop, okay, converting their shares to actually buy more BTC. So you can see how important it is right now with this current market sentiment. Okay, all right. So yeah, you can see we are comparing with gold as well compared to the last time. Okay, all right. So wealthy investors are not dabbling; they are committing. You can see already high net worth individuals are no longer experimenting with small exposure. So they are already going to add more risk to their portfolio. Okay, okay. And then we talk about regulation as well. You can see US are also continue to regulate. And we have the new SEC chairman coming in place. And then probably by next year, May, okay, we have the new Federal Reserve chairman, as Jerome Powell will be replaced. Okay, all right. So these are the bullish case. Okay, this is where we are heading right now. Okay, and then moving on next. So we talk a lot about, is the cycle over? Is the 4-year cycle dead? Okay, many people still cling on to the hopium. Okay, still believing that this cycle can continue. And then recently we have influencers talking about the 5-year cycle. Okay, talking about the business cycle, then how crypto can be able to compare this cycle versus the ISM. Okay, so ISM correlation to Bitcoin. Okay, so what's happening now here? Based on what the ISM alone is showing, looks like a cycle top could be mid 2026. Okay, this will be contrary to what most are expecting. Okay, and then of course this is well explained by Raoul Pal, because Raoul Pal is also one of the guys who actually promote this ISM 5-year cycle. Okay, all right. So if you look here, the ISM, this chart here, Institute for Supply Management, also known as the business cycle. Okay, so what's happening now here compared to this current cycle? versus this last cycle here. So it went down here, right? Went all the way to the extreme here. Okay, for ISM. Then what happened? Bitcoin starts to rally. So he's referring this ISM, this current ISM right now, that probably Bitcoin will have another length to go some more. So probably there's another field, okay, for BTC to continue to rally. So maybe expecting maybe 150 to 180K by the looks of it. Okay. All right. So again, like I said, during Q4, there are many influencers, not only 𝗧𝗺𝗀𝗀, Tom Lee. They will cook up some story, some theory. Okay, they may be look so convincing, okay, for you not to sell. They may be so convincing that you don't even want to sell, that you continue to hold. So that is a thing that you have to be aware. Okay, you need to have an exit strategy. How do you want to play this game? Okay, are you going to continue to listen to these people, or do you have an exit plan, a clear exit strategy? Instead of listening to this kind of people, okay, all right, you have to take note on your portfolio, because they also have a responsibility, which is to make their investors money. Okay, they have clients, family officers, or their close friends who are invested into their company. Like 𝗧𝗺𝗀𝗀 have their own investment company. Tom Lee also have their own investment company, right? So they have a duty to go out there to throw their reputation on the line, okay, to shield you this type of narrative, so that dumb money will actually buy. Okay, dumb money will continue to hold, retail people especially, so that they can able to dump their bags on those retail. That is what really happened last year as well, last cycle. Okay, so very, very similar. Every time Q4, they'll cook up some story, and then the bear market comes, someone will engineer a bear market or collapse, then that's it. Okay, all right. So yeah, I think a lot of people also still not approve. Okay, we can see here, right? This extended cycle narrative came from many influencers last cycle as well. Exactly, this is what I'm trying to say. They will cook up some story so that you will continue to believe this narrative, that you're so convinced, and that you will continue to hold for the next cycle. And that's why many people rode all the way up and brought all the way down and become a back holder. Okay, so this moving of the goalpost is not new. I believe this narrative is what most people do actually expect. Holding the back until mid-2026. Then a few months into the bear market, waiting for 250K that will not come this cycle. And then also the ISM is performing worthy because of the economy is very good. So again, yeah, like I said, this influencer, they will find some narrative that looks so convincing, okay, for you not to sell. You understand. Okay, so that's why you have to take note. Which side do you want to take in? Do you want to believe this kind of narrative, or do you have a solid backup plan or exit strategy so that you can be able to exit instead of listening to these people? Okay, so that's one narrative. And then next one, the reality of what's going to happen right now. Okay, we'll talk about the relief rally and how you're going to exit. How are you going to, de-risk your portfolio if you are over invested into crypto right now? So Bitcoin cycle shift are underway. Okay, so we look here into this pattern here. Okay, so what's happening now? The price have already broke this blue line here, which is usually bad, right? And usually once it broke down, the bull market is over. Okay, so I believe this marks the beginning of the bearish cycle phase. Okay, already close below the blue line. And then upside from here is likely limited to a retest of the blue line, which is the 100K level, $100,000. So maybe a slight week above, but unless price close back above it. So that's the thing. Do you want to believe in the ISM, which is the 5-year cycle from 𝗧𝗺𝗀𝗀 and all those influencers? Or do you want to look into this? At least this is more realistic. And this is the reality that people don't want to face. Now I'm telling you this, you have two choices right now. Okay, either to wait for the relief rally, okay, or probably you de-risk 20% when it goes up. Okay, you DCA by selling 20%, it goes up again, another 5,000 you sell. Rather than you wait 100,000. Because I think everyone is waiting for 100,000, then only to sell, right? But what if the market don't go to 100,000, maybe 95, 98, 97, and then you don't sell and then it goes down again. So that's also another concern. So you want to dollar cost averaging by selling out, de-risking your position out, especially for BTC. So let's see if the market can invalidate this signal in the coming weeks. So I'm also quite expecting if Bitcoin can able to break above 100K, that will be a huge surprise. Okay, all right. So these are the two scenarios here: 5-year cycle ISM or this one. Which one you choose? Okay, you decide on your own journey right now, because the end is near for this cycle. Okay, and you have to pick either one. And then next, okay, talk about alts. Okay, altcoins. So something very different on how the alts are behaving compared to BTC. Okay, something that they never do during a BTC crash, and it's not even normal. So what happened is that Bitcoin has dumped almost straight down for weeks, but out again, Bitcoin quietly refused to break. But we can see already what's happening now. Dominance goes down. Okay, and then it against Bitcoin starts to outperform, right? Okay, so alt BTC ratio is actually up 9.44% this month. So you can see already what's happening. And then altcoin seller exhaustion. Okay, this is what's happening here. When alts calculated before BTC finishes its correction, they often become the first part of the market to stabilize. Yeah, because alts will dip even harder. Okay, alts will drop more compared to BTC. Okay, and once it drops more, capitulated, that's where they find the consolidation or ranking period. So the chart shows exactly that heavy selling in October, a complete washout, and then a slow but consistent grind upward while BTC keeps building. Okay, so that is the narrative right now that is happening. Okay, so yeah, you can see here, if BTC is close to a local bottom, which the indicators are suggesting. So there are two indicators here, two tend to follow. Bitcoin enters a sideways phase or slow reversal. Then number two here, outperform the BTC pair and USD pair. That is usually the case, right? Bitcoin goes sideways, alts will outperform. Now, if Bitcoin do a rally or relief rally, that's where the thing you have to take note. Okay, how significant is the alts to catch up? And of course, for it as well. Okay, all right. So dominance looks heavy and is struggling to trend higher despite BTC dumping. Then alt BTC is quietly breaking up from its base. So this is a chart now. Okay, so this is BTC still down. We look at alts trading higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. Okay, so this is what's happening now. You can see already. It's coming. But is your alts performing? Is the alts that you hold are performing? That's the most important thing. If you're going to hold alts that is not performing, that you are still holding from the last cycle, okay, then of course it is not included, I believe so. Okay, so that's how it is. And then moving on next to Airdrop. So we have Grass. Okay, Airdrop 2 is coming. Okay, so I'm not sure how many of you have qualified Grass earlier. Okay, so yeah, I think this is the latest updates. Revenue is exploding. Okay, projected about 12.8 million Q4. Then network growth, Grass has grown to about 8.5 million active users. A lot. Okay, token updates. Okay, Grass starting to buy back their own token. Okay, using the revenue, 100K completed, 250K still in progress. And then talking about the Airdrop 2. Okay, Airdrop 2, what's happening now? See here. Will be structured to better align incentive along with long-term network contribution. Okay, with distribution taking place directly through a new native wallet available through the Grass dashboard. So yeah, I think you have to check your dashboard, see. Is there any other updates? Is your point working? Okay, so you might want to check again on your extension. If you download the software, you want to check. Okay, so this is the Grass. And then next, coming in from Iris. So Iris drop now is live, so you can be able to claim. Okay, right, from Iris. So current price is about 0.014. Okay, then of course, again, they throw the community under the bus. So how much this is under Ethereum mainnet, which costs about $4 to claim. This guy's allocation is only worth about $26. Okay, minus everything, the fees, I'm not sure. You're gonna get peanuts, I think. Okay, so these are the latest narrative with Airdrop. Okay, they launch it on the mainnet of Ethereum and make everyone's life hard. to claim as well, because the fees is quite expensive on the Ethereum. Okay. Next here coming in from 𝗧𝗺. So 𝗧𝗺 drop registration is now live. So you are doing this, I'm going to register in order for you to check your NTBT. Okay. Then to qualify, you need to be in the top 500 of season 4, season 1 and season 2, or season 3. Okay. So we're going to check here for 𝗧𝗺. Then next year coming in from 𝗧𝗶𝗺𝗀𝘀. So 𝗧𝗶𝗀𝗀 drop. Also, I think they're going to launch or they have already launched. So snapshot is somewhere around 23rd, which is 3 days back. Okay, and then from 24th, the eligible address will be able to check their booster drop. Okay, and related details through our official interface. Okay, so yeah, for those of you who have been doing this, and then of course your Genesis NFT holder, then I believe you should qualify for this drop. Triple S airdrop, 𝗧𝗶𝗀𝗀. And then next, Monet. Not to forget, did you check your drop or not? SPU. You're gonna check. Did you qualify for Monet? I think every one of us also didn't qualify for the testnet. But probably what you can do, you can go to monetscan.com and check your address. Okay, probably they give you something. I think everyone got one Monet. I think Monet scan. Okay, so you just need to paste your address. Okay, here's your address. And then under the Monet Chain Explorer, then you search. I think they have given everyone one Monet. And then if you are lucky, you are getting G Monet, I think. Some NFT, which is currently worth about 300 to 500 US. Some didn't even interact with the testnet, also gotten that drop. Right? And you can able to sell in Magic Eden. Okay. So that's the thing here. Okay, about Monet. Okay, so I think that is the one. Then moving on next. Okay, look at the coin market cap. So where are we now? 3 trillion. Okay, look at BTC now, 87.2. Ethereum is slightly below 3K. Okay, and then Guinness for today. SPX is 900. Look at that. Okay, 27%. Net 60% is up. Already what, 4.5 cents. So the ICO price was what, 2.5 cents. Okay, so it's already up about 60%. Okay, for those of you who have bought the pre-sale, we're currently up about 60%. Maybe have stuck net at 10%. Pi network, 9%. Okay, so these are the things. Then hyperliquid now is still at 23. Okay. Then we look at the dominance first. If you have any question, feel free to put in the chat box. I'll answer it later on. So one thing you can see here on dominance, what we notice here, price rejected at the sell zone here, and then created a lower high compared to previous high. So we know that the setup is about to hit down. Okay, for dominance. So where is the next level here? Probably here, D5, then leading up to the lower BB here, 3. Look at weekly. Price closing below the middle band. So we know that the trend is downtrend now. The next level on weekly will be here, 57.7 for dominance. Look at daily. And we see daily now. Momentum sell, pull back for the entry sell, is breaking down again. So trend is down now for dominance. That's why I'm saying I'm still having high conviction for Ethereum and of course the alts that I'm holding. Okay. All I know is that Bitcoin have already peaked, have already topped. That is for sure. So we might get the last relief rally for BTC. That would probably ignite the alts as well. And it will be the final showdown for dominance to go down. Okay, all these alts will have a one final last rally and then that's it. Okay, so what you're seeing now is, I think it's playing exactly according to the last cycle as well. Bitcoin dominance will continue to go down. Okay, so yeah, and then we look at ETH against Bitcoin now. Very important, you look at the chart here. Okay, price descending, break above the middle band. So what happened now? Okay, it needs to maintain this level of support. Okay, we're now still maintaining. Okay, so it needs to break above here. Next, this level here, it's what? 0.04065. Okay, for it to continue. Look at weekly. You can see weekly here, descending channel. Every time there's a descending channel like this, there's be a high probability of a break towards the upside. BB squeeze on weekly, monthly, there could be a signal for buy to sell. So most likely you might see a reversal back up first before heading down again. So I think if this thing going to play out, this could be a very massive explosion for it against Bitcoin. Okay, daily already broke above the middle band, which is a very good sign. Now it needs to maintain above here. Okay, then finally is this trend channel here. It needs to break up. So it needs to break up here. Okay, break up confirmation sideways, then you might reset back this level here. Okay, for it against Bitcoin. I think most likely might play out through. Okay, then we look at BTC now. What's happening now with BTC? Higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. Monthly, if you look at it, still bullish actually. Right? Still above the middle band for now. Okay, we have another how many more days left? 4 more days to close this candle. So if this candle can maintain above middle band, will be very good. Next level is here, 102.5. Or probably maybe here first, 96.4. Then look at weekly. Momentum sell. So every momentum, there could be a pullback. So this relief rally maybe to test back here on this sell zone at 99.34. Okay. Should we see continuation maybe to 100K or 101? That's the least. Okay. And then your relief ready for daily. What to expect? Next, middle band, 84.3. Okay. Or should we hit lower again to retest 79? Okay. And then we look at H4. It's still reluctant to break down, right? What happened? We test here at this low. Now consolidate again above the middle band. So it needs to quickly break off this top BB here. And then we'll continue to fight for 94 and then 101. A lot of work here to do for BTC on H4 as well. Now Ethereum, monthly, what's happening? Again, like I said, look at the middle band, broke below the middle band. So it's not looking good. Okay, next support here, 2592. Look at the weekly time frame, also you can see momentum sell, so pull back. Okay, on this middle band, on this re-entry sell at 2382. So this could be the relief rally next, or extended would be the middle band at 397 for ETH. Okay, momentum sell, pull back for the re-entry sell. So it's still downtrend. Okay, so it needs to quickly break above the middle band here for daily. 3126. So if you're able to break, then it will be very good. Okay, for ETH. Okay, so H4, what's happening now? Higher highs, higher lows. Momentum, pullback for the re-entry bar, consolidation. So next bet needs to break up here. 2963. Break above 2963, 3126 next. Okay, for ETH. So outs. Now I already told you guys, you have to do your homework. And then some of you are complacent. What happened to THORChain Root? Especially those people who are in the group, WhatsApp group. Okay, I told you guys to sell THORChain on the 6th of February. Okay, 6th of February this year, February. Where's the price here? February here, right? So low was here. Guys, for you guys to sell somewhere around 1.3 to 1.4. And yet we have still some people still never listen. And still continue to hold. And you're down about what, 60%? More than half now. So this is a problem about being complacent. Okay, and then of course talking about sunk cost fallacy. So if last cycle, if you have been holding, back holder, that means you have bought the token, you have rolled it all the way up, all the way down, you're considered a back holder. Okay, and then this cycle again, you're making the same mistake. You're holding this coin. I already mentioned that this token already go insolvent. Okay, I think they have already go bust, but yet people still being complacent. I told you guys to sell, but quite surprisingly, when I saw the portfolio, you're still holding. Okay, so this is the price to pay for being complacent, and of course, sunk cost fallacy. So again, remind you for lessons like this, what is sunk cost fallacy? See here. Okay, the phenomenon whereby a person is reluctant to abandon a strategy or course of action because they have invested heavily in it, even when it is clear that abandonment would be more beneficial. That's the thing where everyone is facing. People ask, when are you going to sell? Please let me know. right? So when I ask you to sell, will you sell? That's the most important thing. Your mind will play another trick. So it's end of the day, it's all about between you and your mind. Okay, the conviction level, whether to sell or not. And look what happened to RV also, you can see already. Same, similar, I already told you. RV, what happened, you see? 4.06. So imagine you accumulate. Okay, accumulate since last 2 years. Okay, accumulation period, you accumulated last 2 years. Imagine you wrote all the way up here. You don't even take out your capital. Okay, profits also you don't take out. That is the worst. And then you wrote all the way down here. Can you imagine? So now it's what, 4.06. The low was how much here? 3.97. Okay, this was an extreme low. So imagine that. Another thing to learn here is what? Cost of opportunity. Okay, so cost of opportunity, very important. Okay, the value of the next best alternative is that foregone when the choice is made. Okay, so for example, opportunity cost of spending money on a new product could be the potential profit from investing the same money in the market. So example now, okay, you have already prepared very well to buy RV, to buy the dip, 2023 you bought, but you wrote all the way up, all the way down. So that means you have lost your time of 2 years. That 2 years you can be able to spend probably on another narrative, on another out like Solana. Okay, or probably another business that you can be able to do. So now you end up, not only that you lost 2 years of your time, but now your capital is at a loss as well, depreciating now. That is the problem with most people who never learn, who never understand. Okay, week after week, month after month, cycle after cycle, I've been telling, and then people still don't learn. So last year you being a back holder, this year again you're a back holder, then what's the point of coming in? So yeah, like I said, okay, so sometimes I'm being strict. It's because for your own good. That's why you see not many people come to my show now, or probably now it's bear market. Okay, people only want to do when it feels good. But I'm telling you this for your own good, so you cannot afford to make this mistake again, right? So yeah, I think that's all I have. Okay.